What's going on, guys? I want to talk about, real briefly, rain gear. And part of it stems from a discussion over on my forum. We've been talking about different rain layers and such. And I've touched on it before in the past, but I wanted to touch on a few other thoughts. So, for rainy weather in the winter time, I generally like to use my USGI level 6 Gore-Tex, or the equivalent, now discontinued, proper Adventure Tech level 6 Gore-Tex. I've got a video up on those. Go back and look in the older videos and you can see them. They're just a regular rain jacket and pants that go with them. That's typically what I like to use in cooler weather. The reason I like to use those in cooler weather is because although they're a single layer of quote-unquote Gore-Tex type material, they still don't breathe, and I don't like using that word, but for lack of a better word, breathe all that well. If it's very warm outside, or like in my area, very humid, even when it's raining, if you're doing much moving or anything, you're most likely going to sweat a lot in them. It's got to be a little bit cooler for them to really work for me. During the summertime, excuse me, what I like to use is this, and I've mentioned it in another video as well. This is pants and a jacket made by a company called Redledge. You can get them in some fairly decent colors and whatnot, but these are a really thin nylon material that's coated, and it's a, like I said, it's a ripstop nylon that is really lightweight, and it works really well. The newer ones, this is an older version, the newer ones actually have got a vented area across the back right here. Additionally, these big zippers that are pockets on the front right here, it's all mesh on the inside, so if you open that zipper up, it will vent and help let heat out. Also, it's got pit zips on it that you can unzip to help as well. So in hotter weather, this gives me a little bit better option, a little bit better choice for not getting quite as hot. Now, excuse me, the reason I primarily like that setup when it's raining, if you just put a raincoat on and you don't do anything for your legs are going to get soaking wet, which will translate into water will run down your legs once the pants get wet and inside your boots, and you get boots full of water. There's a lot of things to touch on here, so bear with me as we go. Another reason I like the jacket versus, say, a poncho is because if I've got to put my chest rig on, chest rig just doesn't work with most ponchos. Most ponchos are similar to the USGI style, which I think most people are familiar with, which is like a giant rectangle, and you snap the sides together and put your arms out. Now, those work as good as any other type of poncho, but if you've got to put gear on with it, it makes it a little difficult. I remember a few years back doing a training class where it was just absolutely monsoon storming, and guys all got their rain gear out, and just about everybody had ponchos. When they put the ponchos on, they found they couldn't put the gear on over top of the poncho. It just didn't work. Some of them tried, but it bunched it up so much that the poncho was overflowing and getting in the way of their gear. Others just kept their gear underneath the poncho, but then they found that presented all kind of problems of trying to get to it. So I really like the jacket with the sleeves. I feel like it gives me a little bit better freedom of movement. I can still wear my gear with it, etc. Now it's a trade-off. whether it's a jacket pants combo or a poncho, in warmer weather, there's a good chance you're probably going to sweat a lot under either one of them. So your choices there are to get wet from the rain or get soaking wet from the sweat. Either way, you're probably going to be wet. The catch to that is determining what your weather is like. If you're not worried about the temperatures dropping, say for example at night, and you're not worried about hypothermia being an issue, then it might be better just to not wear anything at all and get wet. That's where it comes into making sure you've got good clothing and avoiding 100% cotton clothing all the way down to your t-shirt and underwear. Make sure you've got some kind of a synthetic, nylon, polyester, or some kind of a nylon cotton blend, polyester cotton blend. Anything but 100% cotton. Synthetic stuff's just going to dry out faster and not stay soaking wet. The other thing to think about if you're going to go the route of just not wearing anything, say in warmer weather, is your boots. If you wear boots, whether they're Gore-Tex or non-Gore-Tex, if they're just standard boots, they get full of water. Because if you get wet, the rainwater is going to run down your legs on the inside of your clothing and fill your boots up with water. Ask me how I know, okay? Then you're going to have boots full of water that you're trying to dump out constantly, and they will take forever to dry out. The answer to that is to have a pair of vented hot weather boots that have vents on them that let the water drain out, let a little bit of air flow through there, and will help dry them out faster. Another good reason for either wool or synthetic socks that are going to dry out fast. The flip side of that back again is if you know you're going to be in an area where you're going to walk in water a lot that comes up, maybe not over the top of your boot, but maybe over the ankles, thus over the vents on the bottom. If it's not raining and you're wearing the vented boots, then you run the risk of getting water in your boots every time you step in a little puddle. If you're wearing rain pants that cover over the outside of the boot, then you can keep your boots completely dry inside. So it's a trade-off and it's a balancing act. There's a lot to think about there in regards to what you want to run, how you want to run it, what your temperatures are going to be like. It's not a matter of just getting wet, okay? I mean, our skin's all waterproof, right? The bigger issues, primarily to me, are whether or not hypothermia is going to be a risk, and B, how quickly your clothing is going to dry out so that you don't have really accelerated chafing issues. Because wet clothing against your skin is going to cause your skin to A, be more susceptible to chafing, and B, it'll cause the material to want to rub and stick more to you, which will accelerate chafing. They're all things that you don't want. Again, synthetic materials, synthetic clothing, etc. Make them dry out fast, yada yada. So, all that said, a lot of guys still like to use ponchos. One of the things for us is a poncho gives you, in a lot of cases, a dual purpose use. You can use it as a shelter, you can use it as an improvised bivy bag, you can use it as a rain garment, etc. So there are pros to that. A rain suit you can't. A poncho can also go completely over all of your gear, including your backpack, whereas a rain suit won't. Again, another flip side of that is most regular ponchos are even length on the front and the back. What ends up happening if you put it over your pack, it's going to raise the back lower edge of the poncho up, and as you walk, your legs kick out behind you as you walk, and they're exposed on the back side more, which means they're going to get wet quicker on the back of your legs, which translates to water running down into your boots, which we're back to that whole argument again. So I'll show you a couple of examples real quick. Okay, the first example is just a standard USGI surplus OD green poncho. You can get them in OD, woodland, etc. Now, this one is brand new surplus, but it's surplus from 1979, if you can believe that. I've had it for a few years. And again, it's what I wore back in the early 90s, along with our old PVC rain suit, which I actually wore in the middle of July in a rainstorm, and I think I was wetter from the sweat than I was from the rain, and was hot because I had that PVC suit on, and I would have been much more comfortable just in my regular clothes getting wet with the rain. It would have been a lot cooler and just a lot better all the way around. But you know what? You do what you're told. So as you can see, and I know you can't see where this is hanging down at, but when I hold my arms out, you see how it's basically just a big rectangle? It's like you're a flying cape. Well, it's because your arms are going through the top right here, and you still got the sides, which snap together, which is what makes it into a shelter or a bivvy or whatever. So you've got that use. But when it comes to the GI ponchos, and this isn't true for like aftermarket ponchos, I don't have a whole lot of those, so I can't attest. But the GI ponchos, one problem is the sealant they put on the seams over time gets hard, brittle, cracks, etc. As you can see how discolored this is around the seams on the hood right here. I don't really use this one much for anything but maybe as an emergency ground sheet or covering up gear or something, to be honest. The hood's actually got some, you can hold it up to the daylight and see little pinholes through it where the coating on the outside has got little, it looks like a screen door in some places that you can't see with the naked eye until you hold it up and get light coming through. But if I try to put on my chest rig with this on, you can already see just trying to get my arm through. You see how much you got here? It just, it doesn't lend itself to working real well. On the flip side of that, if I take this off, if I just use my Redledge jacket, okay, or your Gore-Tex jacket, whichever floats your boat, okay, now I can easily put my chest rig on over a rain layer. Remember to pull my hood out. There you go. See, I can put it on. I can still run my gear on the outside, right? Not a problem. Nothing's binding up. I'm nice and dry. Well, one of the things that I wanted to play with for a while was something that might be of interest or an option to you guys. It might be a solution. It all depends. Now again, like I said, this is all a trade-off, okay? If you use a regular poncho that you can split and open up, you can make a shelter out of it. If you use something like this, you're going to have to take a separate shelter. Honestly, I can take this and a small tarp and take up about the same amount of pack space as what a big GI poncho does. Just works out about the same for me. However, as an option, I want to show you guys, I've been playing with it. I'm going to play with it some more. It's a poncho. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may have tried it. But it's the Snugpak poncho. It's the Enhanced Patrol poncho. What makes the Snugpak different is two things. A, it doesn't have sides that snap together. It's not one big rectangle. Secondly, it's longer in the back than it is the front, specifically with the intention of A, keeping the back of your legs drier, and B, fitting it over top of a backpack. You can wear it on the outside, and then as the extra room that the backpack takes up, It'll make the back hang still evenly with the front because it's longer, and it all works out in the wash. So what makes this one different also is the fact that instead of like a GI poncho or most commercial ponchos, it has sleeves, okay? So you've still got the flowy poncho, you've got arguably a little bit more airflow than, say, the jacket, like the rain jacket does, okay? But you've got arm sleeves. With the arm sleeves, I bet you can guess what that allows me to do. It's got a nice size hood on it. There. I can still put it on, get my sleeves situated, okay? Now, I can still work and do stuff. I'm still wearing the poncho, right? But I can wear my gear over the outside of it. It's a little bit bulkier than with the jacket because you do have more material, okay? But you can do it. So it's kind of that trade-off. It's not as streamlined as the jacket per se, but it fits better than with a regular poncho. So, let me show you a couple of details on it. First off, this is just an observation, okay? You just got some simple elastic around the cuffs. You also have thumb loops. So you can grab and pull it down, keep holding it down on your arms. Apparently I've got monkey arms, and when I put my thumb through the thumb loop, I can't straighten my arm out. My arm has to stay bent. So you can see right there, if I go too far, I'm probably going to tear something. So for me to stretch my arms out, it comes up on my sleeve there a little bit. Doesn't matter to me. I probably wouldn't use those anyway. Again, it's just an observation. You do have on the front here, the others, you've got a big kangaroo pocket, right? That goes all the way through. And then you've got another Velcro mat pocket, okay? The mat pocket's waterproof. I wouldn't put anything in the kangaroo pocket that I wanted to keep dry, simply because with it being open on the sides, rain can run down and catch and go inside of it. But the Velcro pocket is waterproof. It's really lightweight, okay? Oh, before I take it off, you do have the ability to zip it up, right? So you can zip it all the way up in the front. You've got toggles right here where you can tighten the hood down. When you unzip it, you'll notice there's a secondary flap right here, which is kind of nice because you can unzip it and it gives you room, but it still keeps you covered on the front right here. Now, this is a really thin, lightweight material. It reminds me of the same material that the jacket's made out of. It's like a nylon material with really nice coating on the inside. All the seams on the inside are taped just really well. It's some of the best taping I've seen. Like I said, you do have cord and toggles to cinch the hood down. Another cool feature is you've got Velcro on the back of the hood, so you can pull that down and it'll pull the front of the hood further back so it's not hanging down in your face, depending on your head size and shape. So, to kind of give you an idea how it looks. Now, I want to get some more time in with this. I want to play with it. I want to see how it handles our monsoonish rains that we have here, the sweat and the heat factor, our humidity, etc. So I'll do a follow-up video or two as I get more time with it. My goal was to get it out in the rain today and try to get some video done actually in the rain for you guys, because we were told that we had just, you know, mega awesome storms coming through and all that kind of good stuff, and hey, perfect opportunity to get out and test some gear. It's supposed to come through, you know, from like 10 o'clock this morning through 4 or 5 this afternoon. Yeah, it decided to show up about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, and thunder, lightning, pouring rain, storming winds, the whole 9 yards. And now it's just nice and bright and sunny and clear outside. It's how it works for me, guys. If I wanted it to storm, which I did, it turns out sunny. If I needed it to be sunny so I can get out and do stuff, it'd be storming. Can't win for losing. Anyway, enough of that. Other little thing too to show you on this with the Snugpak. Little carry bag. It's got a toggle and closure up top. You've got a little tab there you can hang it from. There's also a tab on the bottom, and also really nice, it's actually vent mesh material on the bottom, so you could put a wet poncho in here and let some of the water drain out, and it's not gonna just, you know, fill up the sack inside. Only catch to that, be careful putting it inside your pack. Excuse me, about to sneeze all over you. Inside your pack and all the water running out on the inside and soaking everything. Might be better to have it in a separate outside pocket, which is what I do anyway, just to be able to get to it easier. But you can see from the size of that pouch, that's what it'll compress down to. It'll make it nice and compact. It's not bulky at all. So for an emergency rain layer to have, you know, that might be good for, say, a get-home bag, or depending on the situation, a bug-out bag, depending on what you're doing. Me personally, for patrol work, I'm probably going to stick with one of my rain suits, be it the Red Lunch or my GI Gore-Tex stuff for patrol work. And even then, I'd probably only use it in colder weather. In warmer weather, me personally, I'm probably just going to get wet. I know I've got, you know, the right clothing and stuff to handle being wet and drying out, especially in our heat and environment. So that'd be my personal choice. You got to determine for you, you know, what your risk is, and probably the bigger concern is going to be at night. If you're up moving and everything during the day, it's probably not going to be that big a deal. But what are your temperatures going to do at night when, you know, sun goes down and you're more likely to be stationary, sleeping, that sort of thing? That's when you got to worry about those hypothermia issues. And you can get hypothermia in the middle of the summer, okay? It doesn't have to be below freezing for you to get hypothermia. Technically, if your body temperature drops below, you know, 98.6, you're in hypothermia. So, again, technically. But for, like I said, a get-home bag, bug-out bag or whatever, that Snugpak poncho might fit the bill real nicely. It lets you keep moving, lets you cover your pack and stuff. Might be a little less apt to be wearing your fighting gear in those situations, dependent. So it's something to consider. I just wanted to show it to you guys. I'm going to get some more time in with it. I want to make sure that it's going to hold up, that it works, you know, like I'm saying, that it's worth your money to go buy. You know, it doesn't leak like a sieve or whatever. So I will follow up on that as I can. Right now they're available in black, OD green, and I did see they were offering it in coyote. So that's something to consider. That's the OD green one right there. It's kind of a darker OD green. So, you know, depending on what color or flavor fits your taste. So anyway, that's the Snugpak Enhanced Patrol poncho. Little thoughts here on your rain gear. Being as how we get lots of rain here year round, this is probably a topic that we'll come back to and revisit fairly often. probably going to touch on the rain layers and rain considerations in the patrol series too at some point, so stay tuned for that as well. Alright, enough on that, guys. As always, be safe, stay prepared, and we will talk to you later.